Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. It's Friday the 29th of August. Thanks again for watching. It's the usual long-range outlook today. We've got the update from the Japanese model, which is normally pretty quite good, and it's showing high pressure building in through the next couple of weeks, but then interesting developments at the end of the month. But before we get on with that, our campaign all month raising funds for Macmillan Cancer Relief is starting to draw to an end now. We've raised almost £2,500. Well, you've raised almost £2,500, so thank you so much for doing that. If you haven't given yet, you can still do so, however small the amount, however large the amount. Go to www.justgiving.com/sailing-weather and please give there. What we're saying is weatherweb.net's free of charge, but if you can donate any subscription fee that you might paying for a site like this, normally it's about £20 a month, please do so by going to that address, or you can text Swiss 99 followed by the figure £10 to 70070. Thanks so much to those of you who've given already. If you haven't, please do so now. If you can't afford to do so, that's fine. Just spread the word around and ask your friends and colleagues to donate if they can. I'm sure you'll agree, an amazingly worthwhile cause. Anyway, on with the forecast, and because it's a Friday, that means that the Japanese model is updated. Their long-range model, or their 30-day model, is updated. And this is the forecast for week 1. So this has taken us forwards to next Thursday, which will be, I've got to check the dates here, which will be the 4th of September. And interesting to see, look, keeps the trough out towards the west, but look at that ridge built through the UK. Now, the Japanese model pretty well got this nailed a few weeks ago, and it shows the high built-in look dominated by those high pressure conditions, warmer weather coming in. This is quite an interesting feature, though, out towards the west, this trough feature, because that's showing signs of being fairly mobile. But interestingly, the week 2 forecast from the Japanese model, which is from the 5th through to the 11th of September, maintains that ridge in place. Now, excuse me, I think what this is seeing more than anything else is the idea that that high is still kind of in position, or those higher than normal heights are still trying to be in position through next weekend, and that this trough kind of undercuts that high. But I think what we'll see is that high being squeezed away up towards the north. And all the indications are that actually we get a trough of sorts come through towards the back end of next week. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll have seen me talking about the MJO. Now, we're at this time of year at a turning point, really, with the weather and with the way that patterns work. So I think what's going to happen is that high gets squeezed off to the north. I think this trough cuts through back end of the week, but it probably doesn't last for long. So it's back end of next week, early part of the weekend. Then the high tries to get itself re-established again. And that's kind of what the CFS tries to do as well. This is the CFS week 1 up to the 3rd of September. And they're the higher than normal heights, look up towards the northeast. There's our trough out towards the west. Look, so it stays with this idea. Week 2 looks like this. See, it maintains that high. So this is week 2 going up to the 10th of September. It doesn't really see this idea of the of any breakdown next weekend, although what's interesting is that the numerical models see the idea of that breakdown far more strongly than these longer ranges. I'm just not convinced this is the way this shapes up. You see, I've got in mind that I thought this is going to be a 4 or 5 day spell of fair weather, then it breaks down and goes more unsettled. And I'm still buying into that idea that the westerlies could break through. Now, week 3 and 4, which goes from the 12th of September through to the 25th of September. And what this is showing is the trough having moved out towards the east. Look, a trough of sorts in there, a bit of a region in the Atlantic, but a trough of sorts in there. So it's trying to pick up on a breakdown from about the 12th onwards, and things turning more unsettled during this middle part of the month. CFS tries this one too. Look, it squeezes off the higher than normal heights towards the north, brings the lower than normal down towards the south through this period. So it too hints at more unsettled weather, particularly across the southern parts of the country. And this is the way I think this is going to go. I think those westerlies are going to break in, and I just wouldn't rule out the possibility, you know, of those westerlies breaking through after next weekend. So I think what we could find is that getting up towards next weekend, so into around about the 6th, 7th time, we find that breakdown trying to take place. It's not that late actually, it's about the 5th or the 6th. Breakdown trying to take place with the trough coming through. Then the ridge builds back in, but then it collapses away again. So collapsing away again around the 9th or the 10th. And that brings us into westerly conditions then. More unsettled conditions, although Scotland may stay dry with the proximity of that high. And towards the end of the month, there's signs of higher than normal heights all around the country here, look, but generally nearer normal heights through the UK. So trying to show that even up to week 4, the 18th to the 24th, we've seen that fall in heights. We've seen a return to more mixed, perhaps unsettled conditions. But what I think will happen right at the end of the month is that we find higher pressure building in once again. And that's backed up here. It's the kind of story that both CFS and the JMA are both trying to tell. So it's a story we can follow then, and that's exactly what we'll do over the coming days. But for now, thanks again for watching. Don't forget your donations to Macmillan, and thanks again for your support. But for now, whatever you're doing, have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.